J Squad.
We gotta find now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find
Yo, what is going on, everybody? How are y'all doing today? Ooh, missed out yesterday, missed out on streaming, but I'm here today and it's going to be a good stream. Got a couple of interesting subjects and I have a surprise. I have a surprise for everyone in the chat today that we're going to be breaking through here. Just let me finish. I've been kind of rushing around trying to get everything set up, so I'm trying to get all of my things in order where they where they go so that I can see the beautiful chatters and everything else. I know you do, Deus. I know you do. So it's another reason we're going to give a couple of minutes, let some of the other guys come in the chat, some of my other 5 dudes. There we go. Let's close this up here. Boom. Man, everything that could happen has happened. There we go. There we go. Let's go. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've been upgraded. I am now officially a PNG. Let me get my guy. He's not supposed to be out behind there. You should be in front of it, bud. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hold on. Technical difficulties here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you should be above the chat. There we go. There we go. Yes. Yes, very nice. Brought to you by Deus Marionette, former artist of our favorite person, Otterly Noah, one of our favorites who can't seem to take a win anymore. I look like a Funko Pop. Good, good. That sounds like my generation at least. So I'm gonna bring it in here. We're gonna be sitting in there. It does seem to be a good time to lose the Wiggler. Why do you say that? Are we talking about oh, what's his face? Diorio and the negative stuff he's been getting, or Queeman? Which one? Which one? Because I stole mine from Queeman around the same time that Diorio was getting his. Got snatched up. That's right, you got snatched up, Deus. Just playing Super Monkey Ball Mania. Okay, a newer version of the childhood classic. I like it. I like it. I haven't figured out what I'm gonna play today. Haven't figured out what I would play, but I have figured out what we're gonna watch at least. Both, yeah. The whole commentary community seems to be going to shit. so, anyways, now that we got this nice Wiggler, y'all can, or not Wiggler. Now that we got this nice PNG, and you can see me talking now, and it looks like I'm here, and I'm officially on my way. Uh, let's look at some of the stuff we're going to talk about. So if you've been watching the internet lately, Subnautica 2 came out, and man, it blew everyone away. What's the Steam DB for it right now? It's kind of crazy. The Steam DB is like several hundred thousand. Let's see here. Subnautica. I just got it today, damaged. Deus helped me get it set up today. She made it for me. So this is going to be the new me going forward. New me, new look. Funko Pop, according to Mike. Subnautica 2 DB. Boop. There we go. Let's see what this thing's running right now. Just 244,000. And of course, you know, the usual stuff. The thing about this game and what I find funny about it is the usual subjects, the anti-woker guys that we've been seeing have been, you know, after this game for a while for being woke, for being a woke slop game that's not going to do any numbers. It's ruined because of like what, one black lady that came in there. We got to open it up a little bit here. I got to get a separate one for web pages is what I need to do. Yes, it is. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Here we go. We'll just go down here like that. So peaked out at 467,000. Not bad for a game that's been having a lot of controversy in the legal scene lately. A lot of problems with that. Now, that's not something I follow too closely, and I wish I would have. I got to start following things like that a little bit better on the channel. But what we are going to do today is I found an interesting video by a guy who I guess just absolutely hates this game. And I've got a couple videos kind of going over the legal stuff within the game beforehand, and then I guess there's still some legal things to be set up, still that haven't been decided since it. So we're gonna watch that, and we're going to give our opinion, see what we think about it, and see if we can find just how woke this Subnautica is, or is it actually the champion of gaming? So first video, like I said, the first video is by Second Winds. I've interacted with them online, or at least the owner or CEO or whatever he is on there of Second Winds, and I've watched a video on, I guess, an anti-woker who quit that place and they were kind of making up a bunch of shit about him. Yes, I'm also curious to see how they will deal with Fable when it comes out. I guess that depends on how much it's going to, how well it's going to do. Subnautica 2 showing that the anti-woke content creators are basically the Jim Cramers of the gaming now. Yeah, absolutely. Because what was it? 3 days before the launch, old Yorchi boy himself stated that he is now he didn't, he is now, what am I saying, I'm going off course. He basically stated like, hey, he put the picture of the woke person up there and was like, hey, this shit's woke, this shit's fucking gonna flop, his normal kind of rage baiting beforehand, and then immediately when it hit numbers, he turned focus and said the game is saved because they took all of that marketing out. But I have another character who thinks differently. I have another guy who thinks differently. So let's see the kind of the history of the controversy around Subnautica 2. We had Subnautica, beloved single player, survival game. Many people wanted it to be co-op, or server driven, like most of these survival games are. Like I played a lot of Ark back in the day, and I played Subnautica. I didn't play as long because what I was looking for in a survival game like that really was like having friends build stuff. It was a little bit more boring for me to build on my own. Though I think the game was great and had a lot of good stuff, it wasn't what I was looking for at the time on my list of things that I have to beat. It had its Below Zero, was it a DLC or it's like own little game? Subnautica is more of a horror game, to be honest. Yeah, once you get into the deeps, and I think that's where I would like it, is probably like it more, is getting into the deeper stuff that's below it. But I still like at the time I was looking for a survival game, we'll say. Then what, the Sub-Zero, Below Zero or something like that came out, added some new mechanics, did some other stuff. To be fair, squids are still pretty woke. My experience of Ark is spending more time looking at the crash log instead of playing the game. It depends. You just got to be careful. We had some long running games. My problem is my friends like to play like more hardcore. So when we first started playing the game, they play, oh God, what is it, like fucking 16 hours a day on it, and it takes like 3 days to tame a dinosaur. So I've got a guy who's like set a timer. One of my buddies would set a timer every day for one of the higher level like flying mounts, and he would just wake up on that timer to go make sure he gave the dinosaur the food and the stuff that it needed to stay down and get tamed. It was kind of crazy. I'm not that hardcore into it, but I had fun playing the game. So anyway, let's listen to the history. So basically there was they got bought out by another company, I believe. Let's listen to it because I know they got bought out by a larger company, and then there was a lawsuit between the CEO and ChatGPT is involved. So you know how we love ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and hit play and get this party started.
If you can believe it, the last time I covered this...
We played some Project Zomboid too. We've played quite a bit of it. We did a little modded Minecraft back in the day, but that was just never. I play Minecraft with my son now. That's about as far as I go there.
Subnautica 2 lawsuit was 7 months ago. A lot has happened since then, and with the game now entering early access on May 14th, I figured it was time to catch up on everything that's happened since we last talked about it. For a very quick recap on what's been going on with Subnautica 2, here's a quote from my previous video on the subject. Krafton had purchased the studio back in 2021 to the tune of almost $500 million, promising a $250 million bonus that would go to the leadership team, and then shared with the rest of the development team, should Unknown Worlds reach certain ambitious revenue targets before June 2026. In July, Krafton fired Charlie Cleveland, Max McGuire, and Ted Gill, citing allegations that they had completely abandoned the development of Subnautica 2 in pursuit of their own personal projects, which had led to development being behind schedule and not ready for an early access release in 2025.
Yeah, this is what I remember hearing about. Like, and those guys were like the founders, right?
As Discovery started, though, Krafton quickly began to change the story of why the founders were fired, which included allegations of stealing documents and materials related to Unknown Worlds in Subnautica 2. This apparently justified their termination after the fact, even though that's not what Krafton was originally making the argument for. Throughout the discovery process, it became known that the CEO of Krafton, Cheng-Hun Kim, consulted with ChatGPT in an attempt to find a way out of having to pay the $250 million bonus to the Unknown Worlds founders. This was after getting advice from Krafton's own lawyers about it being a risky move in the first place, likely to result in a lawsuit and harm the company's reputation in the process. According to documents from the case, Kim decided to go against his lawyer's advice and proceed with consulting ChatGPT for an answer, and, well,
I can tell you this, people consulting ChatGPT just needs to happen more. People consulting ChatGPT for legal advice instead of listening to lawyers should just start happening more.
You've seen now how things have played out. Reading through the court document, it's truly bizarre just how much stock a CEO of a major company put into an AI chatbot, but that's the world we currently live in, I guess. At ChatGPT's suggestion, Kim formed an internal task force dubbed Project X. The task force mandate was to either negotiate a deal on the earnout or execute a takeover of Unknown Worlds. They looked to buy time, court records said. Kim sought ChatGPT's counsel on how to proceed if Krafton failed to reach a deal with Unknown Worlds on the earnout. The AI chatbot prepared a response strategy to a no-deal scenario. According to Kotaku and the court records, Kim was worried that Krafton
consulting AI for any kind of major advice are like people using a magic 8-ball for advice. Yes, it is. I don't understand why people would trust it's the thing is like people have gotten to the point that they'll just trust things on the internet. Like we used to, like what happened to don't trust anything you see on the internet. But now it's like, oh, Google's always right. So now this new AI that Google has made, it has to be like super right now. It's the upgrade. Even though there's like tons of cases, there's tons of incidences of ChatGPT being wrong. ChatGPT just flat out making shit up, right? People trust ChatGPT because it does sound accurate. It does show accurate results for most things. Yeah, but that's still not a reason to make it believe for everything, especially when there's been people disbarred for it, right? It's a form of false sense of security. Yeah, I could agree with that.
Krafton overpaid for the studio and would be labeled a pushover, following projections about what Subnautica 2 was likely to earn a release. This prompted Krafton to implement a strategy of delaying the release of the game and buying themselves time to try to take over the studio completely. Krafton's models predicted that a successful August 2025 early access launch of Subnautica 2, with over 1.67 million copies sold by Q4 2025, would generate significant revenue and trigger the earnout. A financial planning base case scenario indicated $191.8 million total earnout payment, and a best case scenario indicated a $242.2 million payment. These figures immediately captured the attention of CEO Kim. Kim, who had personally led the acquisition of Unknown Worlds, felt that Krafton had overpaid. He feared that making an earnout payment would earn him a reputation as a pushover. Fast forward to March 16, 2026, and Vice Chancellor Lori Will of the Delaware Chancery Court made the ruling in favor of the Unknown Worlds founders and their legal representation, Fortis Advisors. From the ruling, Fortis proved its claims after an expedited trial. Krafton's newly manufactured justifications for the terminations are pretextual. Cleveland and McGuire had taken on limited roles, but that was long known to and accepted by Krafton. As for the data downloads, the former employees were acting to protect the studio's work product and Krafton's takeover attempt. They kept the data confidential and promptly returned it.
Okay.
The judge also ruled that Gill be returned to his role as CEO of Unknown Worlds and with full operational authority over the studio, and may proceed with the early access release of Subnautica 2 when he deems it appropriate. Cleveland and McGuire...
Damn, that's got to sting. That's got to sting, being like, hey, he's not only back to CEO, but he gets to decide when the game comes out.
Were not reinstated with this decision, however. In addition, the time to earn the $250 million payout, which was due to expire in June of 2026, has been extended to September 15, 2026, and includes all the original founders of the studio as agreed to by the initial contract between Unknown Worlds and Krafton. Krafton predictably disagreed with the ruling, and there's still litigation to go through post-release of Subnautica 2 regarding damages accrued by the firing of the executives and whether this had any effect on the game. The link to the full decision will be in the description. It's worth a read just to see how scummy this whole thing was, but Krafton, according to the ruling, essentially fabricated this whole scenario in an attempt to take over the company and avoid paying out the contracted bonuses.
It's like the worst case of takeover that's ever happened. Like, what did he do? He tried to take over the company, he fired all the founders, and then he asked ChatGPT how this could work out for him legally.
This including posting messaging to the Unknown Worlds website without the studio's knowledge on June 12th, locking the team out of its publishing capabilities on Steam, and ignoring requests for communication.
Jesus.
However, the messiness didn't stop there. On March 17th, one day after the ruling, IGN suddenly had an exclusive story that Subnautica 2 would be releasing in early access in May. According to GameFile, Fortis Advisors sent a letter to the judge stating that Krafton had no right to announce that after the judge's ruling, and indicated that Krafton had leaked a memo intentionally to confirm the release window. Gill had not even had a chance to review the game in its current state when the announcement was made, and if you recall from the ruling, he had been given complete control over when and how to announce when the game was going to be released. Things seem to have worked out considering we're just days away from the early access release on May 14th, but according to Gill's lawyers, he didn't have much of a choice. While Gill is supremely confident in the skill and dedication of Unknown Worlds.
Here's the thing, like when they go ahead and announce it, they pushed it had to happen. Gamers don't give a shit about all this litigation and stuff like that. Once it's announced that the game's going to come out, they want the game to come out, and to take it back is just like an optics hit to the game as a whole. And fucking sounds like Krafton knew that and figured, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna make this a complete pain in the ass for these guys as much as we can. I don't know how that works out legally, but that's pretty fucked up.
Development team, they had been working for months at the direction of management that, as the court recognized, had no prior experience with the Subnautica franchise or early access. Moreover, Gill must deal with publishing agreements, launch advertising planning, and other back-end issues. He now needs to do so with the axe of fan disappointment hanging over his head if he changes the launch timing. As an aside, from personal experience, it's kind of funny how all these corporate guys seem to act the same way. A lack of any honest communication and back-channeling to other people within the company about their plans is how I knew my time was coming to an end at The Escapist as well. They're not very good at hiding their intentions when they're preparing to fuck you over, and always have a laughable idea of how much control they have over how things are going to go. The question I have now is...
Yeah, corporations don't like it when they fucking lose. He wanted to take over the company. He wanted to, they wanted to completely own Subnautica brand to make money off of it. And that's not really happening now. I mean, I'm sure they're making money off of it, but he's not going to own the entire brand. He's not going to muscle out the founders of the game.
What is the ongoing relationship between Unknown Worlds and Krafton? The Steam page for Subnautica 2 was updated a few weeks ago to indicate that Unknown Worlds is now self-publishing the game, and in the early access release date announcement trailer, I noticed that Crafton is no longer listed like it was in previous trailers of the game.
Oh, interesting.
No official announcement has been made yet, but considering how this all played out, I highly doubt there will be a continuing working relationship between the studio and the publisher once the contract payout terms are met post-release. Crafton still owns the studio at the time of this video, that much is known. Most likely, those details will be kept quiet for the time being so that Unknown Worlds can keep the attention on the game and its upcoming early access release.
Yeah.
I imagine when the second round of litigation happens, we'll have a better understanding of what their working relationship with Crafton will look like going forward. I'm also very interested to see how Crafton moves forward with its own leadership team. Considering how this is all played out in the public eye with the CEO consulting ChatGPT in such an embarrassing way, I can't imagine that other studios working under Crafton's leadership are going to view Kim as trustworthy in the future. I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, talk about
The whole
like,
situation.
I talk about like the biggest bundle or blunder for your career as a CEO. I just completely fucked this whole thing up by asking ChatGPT.
Situation has put fans of the game in a weird position of wanting to support Unknown Worlds, but not Crafton. And I'm sure that's something that's also going to be looked at before this whole case is said and done.
So that's the first video. I think the other one's just going to say the same thing. Maybe it's talking about more about this probably upcoming litigation, this new litigation that's going to be there. So we'll watch it and see if it's saying some of the same stuff. We'll move on to the other one. I don't have a ton of videos on them. Maybe we'll pull up Smash's old video on it to see, what they were saying before, and go from there. But yeah, so it sounds like there's going to be more litigation because Crafton just said, fuck it, we're going to force their hand. And they may not be making any money off of it now if what Other Worlds is the name of the company are no longer self-publishing now. That's kind of a big hit.
Founders of Subnautica won their first real victory against the publisher known as Crafton. And you'd be forgiven if you thought that was the end of this year-long conflict. However, it turns out that the war is far from over, as there are still several things that hasn't been decided on yet in this ongoing legal drama. Now, before I continue, I should probably give newcomers here the rundown of what is going on, but if you already know the story by now, you can just go ahead and skip to this timestamp right here to where we're currently at. But to recap, first we have the $750 million deal, because you see back in 2021, Crafton, the PUBG folks, bought Unknown Worlds for $500 million. But their founders are back, mind you. As far as I understand, that the founders had against Crafton in that Ted Gill was reinstated as CEO. Not are responsible for that. They could pay a lot of damages to the developers and the founders. So I mean, again, the war is not over yet. And just a reminder here, Crafton still owns Unknown Worlds, but there is a couple of things here that has, happened since my previous video on it. So first and foremost, Crafton does no longer appear on the Steam store because, their logo, their name was on the Steam store before, not their logo, but, they were the publisher. But now it says that Unknown Worlds is both the publisher and the developer. And when you check the Steam database, you can actually see that they scrubbed Crafton from the entire thing. So it's very interesting what is going on here. We don't know exactly what happened there, but yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that they're getting scrubbed from the project. Another thing happened after this verdict was given by the judge. And, it's an interesting situation because right after this verdict was given, Crafton came out essentially and announced that the early access of Subnautica 2 was going to be in May, that it was going to release in May. And IGN were actually the ones that reported on this first because they got exclusive access to this the statement. And this was the message that Steve Papoutsis, which was the replacement head that Crafton put in charge of Unknown Worlds before, this is what he said. Team, we want to take a moment to sincerely thank every member of the Unknown Worlds team and our partners over
Hey, what's going on, EGAD? Yeah, Simon, I am a PNG tuber now. We are official. Thanks to Deus Marionette.
My real passion is my hobby.
Really? What's that?
Hey, thank you for the sub.
I work with retards.
Boom, boom, boom. I don't even have my thing set. Man, I'm all messed up. Hold on. Anyway, EGAD, this is going over the Subnautica lawsuit. So apparently, the reason they launched in May for the early access is because even though Crafton lost the lawsuit, in that stipulation, the CEO of Otherworldly Games and was given his position back, and he was told he can launch Subnautica at whenever he chooses, that Crafton cannot make that decision. Well, Crafton leaked a email or a memo to the IGN, and yes, I move now. I am a mover, and I can move my head. Well, so you weren't aware of the lawsuit? So the lawsuit was basically Crafton tried to come in and muscle out the founders of Subnautica. They said that they weren't working on the game enough, and that they weren't properly doing their part after Crafton kind of bought the company, and fired all three of them, and then after the fact started saying that they also stole company code and other things like that. And the Crafton, I guess, was going to sue, and they ended up the Crafton's lawyers, the CEO of Crafton, his lawyer said, "Hey, this is probably not a good idea. We don't want to get legally involved with this. We don't have a good case." And he didn't listen to his lawyers and instead went to ChatGPT and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna." ChatGPT says I can do it anyway. Lawsuit goes through. Crafton ends up losing pretty much. They're going to end up owing him a lot of money, owing him a lot of. They've lost they may have lost their control of the game, because their name is no longer anywhere on the Subnautica works on Steam or in the trailers or anything like that. So basically, they were given back their or one of the CEOs was given back his control over it. Yeah, the three was going full throttle. Fuck it, we ball. And after the judge said, "Hey, the current CEO of Otherworldly Games, the founder of Subnautica, the one that we said you had to hire back, gets to decide when Subnautica comes out," which is what it's in early access right now for its early access, I guess. And they leaked that it was going to launch in May. Basically, Crafton leaked that it was going to launch in May, even though they were told, "Hey, you don't get to decide when it happens." So that's where we are now. We're trying to get in some of the new information that's happened within, I guess, the last couple of days coming up to the launch, and then we're going to watch a video on someone who doesn't really like this company or games.
For the past 9 months,
I made so much shit while I was away in the Philippines. So what is the TDRL on regarding mixtapes? We're gonna watch a mixtapes video here in a little bit. Old Lady Decade jumped in and made a video that came out about 5 hours ago. So we're gonna do that at the towards the end here.
you have worked incredibly hard to bring Subnautica 2 close to the finish line. That effort has resulted in a game we are truly proud of, one that each of us and our partners at Crafton unanimously determined is ready for early access release in May. Thanks to your dedication and talent, we've added more story chapters, built new creatures, and created new biomes along with many other features. With the significant progress, we have passed Crafton's milestone review last week and are now ready to start our open development journey alongside our community. We have full confidence that we have reached a point where we can
Also, thank you to, it looks like the Boneless one. Thank you for joining. It looks like y'all joined on Twitch. And I'm going to have to start multi-streaming here soon.
can deliver an experience our players will love. We look forward to working with Ted Gill to support a smooth transition and work toward a successful launch. Our priority is getting this game into the hands of the community that has been eagerly waiting for it, and that means honoring the work you have already done to make that possible. Then Krafton themselves actually confirmed that this statement was true, and they of course told this to IGN. We can confirm that the internal message shared with the Unknown Worlds team is accurate. The team has made meaningful progress following the milestone review approved earlier this month, and has been working toward an early access release in May. While we respectfully disagree with this week's court ruling and intend to explore all legal avenues, our goal is to minimize disruption to the team and to the release plan. We remain committed to an open development approach, working closely with the community as development continues, and are focused on delivering the best possible experience to players. Now, obviously, a lot of people were excited, me included, to see that the game was finally coming out in early access, and as of recording this video, it's just a couple of days left. Speaking of which, I'm gonna react to the trailers at the end of this video because I don't want to end off on just, sad stuff. I want to talk about some cool stuff and have some fun as well.
We're not gonna watch him react
at any
to the
rate,
trailers.
this early announcement, or this announcement of the early access by Krafton and Steve Papoutsis, well, according to Ted Gill, the reinstated CEO, that was not in his plan. Like that, he was not expecting this at all, and so he
Imagine reading the article about the release of your game that you haven't decided to release yet. Like, what the fuck would be going through your head at that point?
actually motioned the judge, the Delaware court. I'm going to read it for you. So in this motion, it says, Edward Gill being duly sworn, depose and say as follows. On March 16th, 2026, the court issued its opinion restoring me to my position as CEO of Unknown Worlds. Since the court's opinion, I have regained access to certain company systems, am in the process of working with Krafton to regain access to others, and I've been working expeditiously to re-familiarize myself with the state of Unknown Worlds. As part of that process, I have been working to understand the steps taken in my absence on the development of Subnautica 2 and toward the early access launch of the game. These steps have included meeting with members of the Unknown Worlds team. During my meetings, I have heard from the team about Krafton's leak and confirmation of the May launch window. Unknown Worlds team members who had been working on the studio's launch plans have informed me that they were unaware of Krafton's plan to make such an announcement, and that the announcement was inconsistent with the studio's pre-opinion plan to announce the launch window.
So it sounds like they were actually trying to, ruin this game is what they're trying to do. They're trying to, oh, well, the CEO doesn't really, he's been lightly involved in Subnautica because that was part of the agreement with Krafton. And he's just now getting into some of the systems. If we go ahead and forward this launch and make it happen, the game will come out a mess because it's not ready. The early access will be a mess because he's not ready to get involved with maybe other issues that the team knows about. But it'll be the CEO getting back at these guys of Krafton, getting back at these guys for being right in the lawsuit.
Window. So essentially what Ted Gill is saying here in this motion is that after having spoken to other developers that have been working on the game while he was not the CEO anymore, well, this came out of the blue for them. So apparently they just, according to Ted Gill here, they just changed the plans on when to announce it to right as the court ruling happened. So it seems a little iffy here, according to Ted Gill. We have a bunch of redacted things here, or information like screenshots and things like that we can't read here. But Ted continues here saying, I was extremely dismayed to learn from these communications that Krafton had rushed to leak the timeline of the launch after the opinion came out. A successful early access launch requires careful planning and preparation to foster authentic fan participation and support, as the Unknown Worlds team work reflects. Krafton's decision to make the announcement itself in the manner that it did was not in line with best practices and may well undermine the Subnautica 2 launch. So as we can see here,
can you imagine just this going in their favor again? A second lawsuit for Krafton. That they go after him for well, I guess they're still in the midst of a lawsuit, so they're just adding on to it. I don't know how that would work. But They'll end up settling for what, more money? Maybe. I don't see how this was like a good idea, a good plan. How they thought they were going to get away from it. It sounds like their CEO is just running fucking wild.
From the man himself, he is essentially saying that this was a really shady thing to do by Krafton because he was not included in the decision to announce the early access release. Now, you might be wondering what he is motioning for here, and what he's doing is he's essentially asking the judge to bring Krafton back to court and ask them what the hell they're up to. Like, explain yourselves. Why did you...
Maybe they thought the studio wasn't going to fight back. I guess. Like... But they just won a lawsuit against you. They I feel like they would be on a little bit of a high, like, oh, we beat them once, we could go after him again. I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe the CEO is just one of those people that just can't take anything negative towards him. He's got to lose his shit. He'll probably be on Twitter talking about woke and how it destroyed gaming and his career in the next like couple of months.
To choose to announce this before I had a chance to, get my input on it and, come back as the CEO. Truly, that was pretty much it. Like, this is what emotion means, is that you're asking the judge to do one thing. Now, the most interesting thing about this motion by Ted Gill is that he actually retracted the motion just a couple of weeks ago. And I've seen people talking about this, oh, why did he retract it? Because essentially you would assume that, maybe they made an error, or Ted Gill made an error, or possibly that somehow maybe Krafton is in the right here somewhere. But that's not necessarily what that means if you retract a motion. It's just at this point, I think it's more of a tactical thing, because the cat is out of the bag, right? You can't retract the early access release date now because so many people are excited for it. It's one of the most wish-listed games on Steam. Everybody wants to play Subnautica 2 now. So, I mean, by going on with this motion, it would not only possibly hamper excitement for the game, but as we all know, lawyers are very expensive. So this was assuredly, I'm pretty sure, a tactical decision not to spend any time and money on, complaining about the fact that they had revealed the early access release. It's just going to cost a lot of money just to keep going with it, because...
Well, there you go. Looks like they might not be fighting back anyway. It looks like it might have worked for Krafton.
And you can't really do anything about it at this point, aside from possibly alleging sabotage for damages again. But at this point, I think this was more of a tactical decision to just let it go and just try to focus on...
I think it would be pretty hard to say damages too, considering how well the early access of this game is selling. He's probably like, there's no reason to spend money on a lawsuit when we really didn't lose any money on this. The game is still like widely accepted. Now, the game could have problems going in, like they're in early access, so people are going to forgive some things, bugs and stuff like that, as the game improves and gets better. But yeah, it's like what could actually be considered damages when you just fucking have sold 2 million copies in the first day?
Making the release as good as it can be, because he's now back as the CEO, so now he's in charge of doing stuff. It was possibly a shady move by Krafton. We don't really know all the information there. We're probably going to find out later. Still, it's pretty interesting, though, that it seems to me that Krafton is still trying to pull some stuff constantly. But, maybe they did.
Shady girlfriends on the way out. They're probably going to, like... not be in control of this company anymore. They've probably lost money off of all this shit now. Yeah, they're fucking Weasley little snakes now.
And maybe it was all in a fair game, but it was a little odd that they announced the release of Subnautica 2 right when the ruling happened. But I'm happy that it's coming out in early access myself, and that takes me to the recent footage we've seen, because we've got a new trailer for Subnautica 2, the early access release trailer.
Yeah, we're not going to do the trailers. If you want to watch him, you can go watch him, but I'm not going to watch him go through it. It is kind of crazy that this is what's been going on for what he said the last 8-9 months up to the launch of this game that people have wanted. Next, though, we're going to get into my side of the aisle. We're going to look at some anti-woke stuff. So this guy's never heard of. Ooh, buddy. This guy's called Deranged Doomer. About 9,000, almost 10,000 subs on YouTube. Goddamn, even fucking Peanuts playing Subnautica. This one's kind of interesting. I kind of skipped through some of it, and he's got some points where he says the game is still woke, and he doesn't understand why people aren't making it woke. And then he also talks about this Subnautica 2 is creatively bankrupt. So I figured we'd listen to some of the legal ease stuff that was going on, and then see why this guy thinks that they're so dang bankrupt.
Finally, after 8 years, it's here. The highly anticipated.
Now, I will preface it this that I have not played the game yet, so I'm going to be basing off of what he's saying and what he sees. Maybe we can pull up a review by some early review by somebody and see their takes to it.
Sequel to one of the best survival games ever. Subnautica below all.
Then your position is doubly precarious.
I mean, Subnautica 2, what a spin-off. Never heard of that spin-off, huh? Never heard of it. Has it really been 8 years? 8 long years. I was a kid buying this game with a Steam gift card. Now I got another fun card that has enough interest to get me in prison in Tel Aviv. Regardless, how is the game? We'll go over the good, the bad, and some of the weird political and story stuff. And I'm sure, since this game is well received by everyone who played it for 1 hour, that the anti-woke YouTubers will glaze over the fact this game has some strange stuff in it, and the company is heavily deep.
This statement is what made me want to listen to this video, because, I mean, that's exactly what's happening, right? The anti-wokes are glazing over anything that they may consider woke because this game is popular. We'll see if it changes, because if they can find any way to down talk this game, or if there's any negative press on this game, whether it has to do with something like bugs or, you know, problems with the game, people complaining about parts of the game, you know, they'll spin it into a woke is what's killing it montage. But this interested me, so I had to sit down and listen.
EI focused. Also, spoilers will be placed in its own section, even if the game spoils its own story within the first 10 minutes, and most of it on the Steam store page. Before we begin, there's one thing that every single person who buys this game must know. This is mandatory. This game is not yours, and even the mods you make for it belong to the company. You also renounce your right for class action suits. Now, why would they want to do that? Now, why would they want to do that? That's weird. You don't own this game. You are paying.
So, hold on. Let's take a look at it. Boop, boop, boop. Because that very much could change. Let me go back a little bit. Oh, of course it's not, because I'm over here. I want to see
and story stuff. And I'm sure, since this game is well received by everyone, strange placed in its own section, even if the game spoils its own story within the first 10 minutes, and most of it on the Steam store page. Before we begin, there's one thing that every single person who buys this game must know. This is mandatory.
All right. Terms of service in order for the game to be okay.
This game is not yours, and even the mods you make for it belong to the company. Game is not yours, and even the mods you make for it belong.
Okay. Well, I mean, most games don't belong to us nowadays, but they're saying this one is, I guess, worse. In this license itself, is this license self-restrictive? From my reading, I spotted. Is this a fucking Chat GPT? All content you make from the game, such as but not limited to, is not your property. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. I want to read the sections that you're talking about, because if this is Chat GPT, I don't care. It may be right. It may not be. Fuck me. Steam has DRM. PlayStation has DRM. or PlayStation's DRM is even worse. Yeah, I mean, this is something that is incredibly common amongst the games that are in there. If it's worse, I would like to see something more than this, right? Then I don't want to see this. I want to see where in the terms of service it is, so that I can, actually see the evidence. ChatGPT doesn't tell me shit.
To the company. You also announce your right for class action suits. Now, why would they want to do that? Now, why would they want to do that? That's weird. You don't own this game. You are paying for a limited license for it that they can take away at any moment for any reason. There's much more to this, but this is one of the most wicked EULAs I've ever read for a game. On this basic fact, you should not pay for this game. On top of this, before we get into the full review, I want to tell the people
I mean, PlayStation's DRM is worse than Steam's. Yeah. I get what you were saying there. I mean, PlayStation has removed shit, right, that people owned. There's been instances, obviously, online too. We talk about the big one is God, what was the name of that game? The one that stopped Start Killing Games. The Crew, and how that one was just taken down. But PlayStation is pretty notorious for just removing content as they see fit. Oh, you own that? Huh, you didn't. You didn't. You signed that you didn't. Later.
People coming here because of the thumbnail or the title that I like the game, okay? I love the first one, hated the weird spin-off, and I like this one. I think it was worth my money, and I'll play some more after this video. But to be painfully clear, even if you like something, that doesn't mean it's above criticism. I paid for this game myself, and here are my honest thoughts. The good. Alright, the graphics themselves are very impressive. Though straying a little from its more toonish visuals from the first one, I adore the lighting at night from the reefs. This game itself is foolproof that Unreal Engine 5 is mostly on the devs to make it clear, pretty, and functional. I didn't have any frame drops, or very many bugs at all for that matter. It's so nice to play a game that I can actually see. Somehow the game that takes place underwater is more clear than any other Unreal Engine 5 game to date. The art style is there. It's Subnautica, Altera. The intro, much like the last, is pretty good of a hook. I was captivated more than I thought. Scratches that old itch. Speaking of that old itch, Subnautica to me, and you might say the classic survival slop, but Subnautica was able to rise above from the sewage of its genre by offering something really unique. The underwater environment, the art style of its own, the intriguing story for a survival game, and most important of all was the deep and tormenting sense of isolation and immersion. Nothing hit like the quiet loneliness as you go along the dark seabed. That is somewhat intact with this one. Not perfect, but it's there. The gameplay is near identical to what you would expect, slowly exploring farther and farther, deeper and deeper, getting access to better methods to make air last longer, breaking resources, scanning wreckage, and finding better blueprints, and occasionally getting some hints by the way of the black boxes to give a direction. Subnautica 2 has that distinct sense of progression like its first game, a very rewarding and enjoyable loop. It's tight, you won't be stuck for long before you get that payoff of better oxygen tanks, the rebreather, an easily fun and a goofy item, the air bladders. Using these things to either suck up a bit of extra air or launching into the sky for an escape is a pretty fun toy. What is especially remarkable is the life in this ocean.
It does
Plenty of.
I will say this game looks very, very good. Just from the graphics, definitely an improvement. I think not that the first one looked bad, because it didn't.
Genuinely cool aliens that don't feel like, how many shapes can we put in this thing, or how weird can we make it? Some you can just watch and see how they hunt the other smaller fish. It's a fun touch. Some giant crabs. The best one is this Venus flytrap that has valuable lithium inside of it. If you're brave enough not to hit its little hairs, you can get inside, but if you do, you get clamped down. It's pretty neat. Good stuff, good stuff. I love the challenge of cleansing the viral blooms with this game's version of the stasis rifle. No guns again, but this thing can punch most dangers, making it a little bit overpowered. The building is as simple or as complex as you want to make it. Subnautica 2's building system has a bit more freedom, where the past it was just a bunch of boxes and templates. This game, you can specifically build a bit more to your liking with incremental expansions in different directions for the rooms, or placing windows.
Nice. I like that. I always like good base building in a game.
As you please instead of a solid square. It's a nice touch. It's a pretty nice improvement over the last game. Again, I had fun. Exploration is left to you just like the first and it feels great. Persistent, no cutscenes, no loading screens, total isolation. Still, we have some other things to talk about, don't we? This takes us into the bad of the game. I'm sure, absolutely sure, that just because it's an early access game on the storefront, every single issue I have is completely pointless to talk about.
I wonder if they are going to make it longer. I don't know how the game plays out as is, but I know a lot of people are reporting just 10 hours to finish it. Ooh, yeah, that's really short. I don't remember how long was the old one, the original. I feel like it was much longer than 10 hours. I'm sure they will, like, with it being early access. Because it just makes sense. That's what she... I see what you did there, Kimoji. It looks like the first early access for main story was around 15 to 20 hours, but then through completionists mode, like scanning all the creatures, the biomes, collecting every PDA, all of that could take up to 70 hours or more. So the story probably won't get much longer. Experienced players who know the map could skip optional content, can finish in 5 to 8 hours. Okay. So the first one, the story-wise, wasn't that long. But then again, like you say, like a big portion of this game is discovery and the horror. So I could see him expanding a little bit more, maybe getting closer to that 20-hour.
Why talk about anything bad about the game when it'll be the greatest game and everything is fixed in 6 years' time? No, that's a normie cope. The first game still has major clipping, performance issues, the prawn suit sucks fucking ass to pilot, saves corrupt, they still haven't fixed that. Forget my first world, it's gone. Still, my issues with Subnautica 2 are a bit deeper than bugs or clipping. This is the same game as before, down to the story, almost with just tiny little tweaks to it. I know somebody's gonna say, oh, but I'll take this over Below Zero again. Or what's wrong with more of the same? Listen, I'm fine with more of the same. I'd kill to get more of some of the same in my favorite games, but this is just a reskin. You don't like it when games asset flip. This is just a texture pack for the game. It's a DLC, a story DLC with a few different things. The axe is just the knife. The arm things are just the sea glide. All the minerals are the same. The sea moth returns as a tadpole that is no different in any conceivable way other than looking like its Down syndrome cousin. The tools are the same. The upgrades are the same. The fish, this fish is the stalker. This one is just a bigger sand shark. This is a rock puncher.
They're the same picture.
I mean, I get the tools being the same since you're part of Altera, but the wildlife too? There's some blatant downgrades too, like the UI just being a standard in-your-face display instead of a cool physical PDA in the original.
Oh, they took that out? That's interesting. Yeah, that does seem like a downgrade. I don't know why you would... I thought that was an interesting way to be able to look at the UI, the menu, when you went in versus... the normal way of just opening up a random menu. I like when a game will take the inventory status and make it seem more like it's part of the game versus a game versus just like a normal game element. One thing I will say to remember, we'll do a little defense here, is that the original creators seem to be only lightly a part of it. Now, that's no excuse. If they wanted Subnautica 2 to be, a upgraded, better version of Subnautica, they could have done that. They could have focused on it more, but it seems like they were wanting to work on other projects and let Crafton take the main seat in making the game. And Crafton just seems to, maybe they did just copy paste it. That was such a fun scene.
Titan class biosignature on the horizon.
The inventory doesn't have any inventory management, like how the wreckage or...
I hate when the sequels have downgrades to what the prequel has, like even more so when it comes to remakes downgrading what the original game has. RE remakes come to mind. Yeah, it seems like you're already working with the code and the stuff you had there. You're trying to improve it. I get sometimes they scrap it and like start over, obviously moving over and things like that, or at least they may scrap a bunch of it. But you feel like those things that were in games, there are certain things that are in games that are like, they feel like a part of the game. They feel like they are, they're what make it comes alive. And having the PDA, and even then being able to have like the little porthole on the bottom, made it feel a little bit more immersive as you started out before you started building your own base.
The titanium wreckage took up a lot more space. Now it all just fits in little squares. Maybe you like that, but I like the challenge of being able to fit everything. Now it's just way too easy. The enemy AI is real bad. They'll just go right through you, not even hurt you. The game's way too easy. Some areas are so broken dark, and the biomes switch the colors so dramatically. With just a little step to the left, you're in hell. One more to the right, you're back in normal world. And some places are too dark and the flashlights don't work. It's like a void. So you have to feel around in pitch darkness for your objective. The building I complimented also has its problems. You construct a moon pool and try to put the vehicle crafter down, and it's like, must be attached to a moon pool. But it is. That's what I'm clicking on. This is a moon pool. I fiddled around with different rooms, height and depth, and what the game isn't telling you, you just make the moon pool slightly bigger. It's little stuff like that. And this one I take very personally. The music in Subnautica tied it all together. It was the glue that held it all together. And holy, is it so lacking in the sequel. Like, it got neutered, man. I don't understand why they didn't get the same guy to do it again. Listen to this, and I'll try.
Planet Crafter had the same biome lighting issue. It was just very jarring. Yeah. That's something that you really have to focus on, those in-between changes, to make it, one, feel natural, and then make it feel interesting when you're going into this new area.
Try and bunch them with the kind of environment or situation they belong, so it's a good contrast and I'm not cherry picking.
This sounds like fucking AI. The second one wasn't as bad, I suppose, but I'm not much of a music buff. But I do agree with him so far for what we're listening to, that the first soundtrack sounds a lot better.
It's like they forgot the sauce, man. They forgot the spice in there. The game does have desolate moments, but not all of it is like that. The game has dramatic highs and lows. Not even biomes sound different. How embarrassing. Another thing is building vehicles. You might think this is a small thing, and I think they did this because you can build in the deep now, but a part that was so satisfying was getting all those resources, all that time and effort, and you go to construct.
I don't know that I agree with being to build in the deep. Like I knew a little bit about that, but if there's supposed to be an area that's harder because you can't, build in it, you've got to do like little expeditions. I feel like that's more fun and more hardcore, but I get it. Like, your normie audience, the people who just want to play the game, they don't want to have to deal with the long trips and different things like that. They just want an easy time. Why can't I build down there? I just want to build down there, guys.
Didn't watch the little.
I played Subnautica once in a stream as a meme because it was around the time the Ocean Gate got me. That sounds like the perfect time to play it. Oh man. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad game. It just wasn't what I was looking for at the time.
Little drones build your sub in the air and it slams down into the water. It's an experience. It's memorable. And what is it like in this game?
Wait. Oh man, that's like the best part.
What a joke, man. Again, let me be clear, I like the game, but this stuff sucks. It's a downgrade. And that sense of isolation is gone because you always have some people talking in your ear. They talk so much they talk over each other.
A sip of seawater. Notice that sweet blood taste under the salt. That's a toxic dose of heavy metals.
That's gotta
Nobody
be fixed.
survives past 3.
See, seeing stuff like this is making it more seem like Crafton did want to release this early, knowing it was a mess, knowing that this stuff was in there, because players don't really pay that much attention, right? Most people probably may or may not know. Most people probably don't know about the lawsuit and all the other things like that. So they just think, why did they release this? Like, it wasn't ready. What's the mess?
Hours earlier.
Hello. Beautiful place to die over and over again.
Now, here comes spoiler territory. I don't think it's spoilers really because it's spoiled
You hear it. He's saying it. I'm listening.
for you by the first black box you get. This is all stuff that is likely to change in a year or so, and it's on the Steam store page. I recommend listening to know this is just a tired trope on the top of a rehash. The game takes place as an ongoing conflict at the home world. Altera offers you a colony ship with fellow pioneers to colonize a new planet. But wait, that was a no-no word. Also, you're heavy on debt as well. Little do you know, you crash land suspiciously on an ocean planet, not the one you were meant to go to. Your entire crew is dead but you are infected by a virus on the planet, and you're running out of time to cure yourself by trying to understand how the aliens of the planet went extinct before you. Like that.
I have watched videos on the story at the very least, and that's the exact story. The first game. That's like the beat for beat. That's like Otterly Noah making a video. Beat for beat, the same thing.
That's the same game. That's the same game. Let me guess. The next update is the distress call update, the big gun update. Again, and the stuff it treads, as well as instead of feeling alone.
Yes, damaged, if what this guy is saying is accurate.
Alone and desolate, you have an AI companion. Not the lady from before, but a Halbot. And guess what? He's evil.
It can't do that. It can scan us, print us, or roll us back to an earlier version. It can't edit us. Maybe it edited out the knowledge that it can edit us.
Noah, is there a fire? Noah, do not open the Seacocks. Noah?
Now this one, okay. I think he's trying to like present, AI bad now. That's why they made AI bad. I don't know that the first one was evil. It was like trying to push you to go to the next objective. Maybe I'm wrong there. That's one that I'm gonna have to take the L if I'm off. But what's wrong with the AI being evil? AIs just do that. Like that's a pretty common trope. Wait, Noah's in the game? No. Was there otters? Did you see an otter in there?
Knowledge, please. I have a mouse trap, Noah, and I'll use it. Do not.
And has access to the Bioshock-style Vita chambers, where he has reprinted the entire crew so many times that he has wiped their minds of his influence to get his way. Now onto the woke weirdness, and there's not too much, but you'll see it, and you'll notice.
Eternal
if you
blue
notice...
sky. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta put a pause on this. We gotta bring this forward. Let's bring that up here. I already know what he's probably gonna say about those guys. Let's
chambers, where he has reprinted the entire crew so many times that he has wiped their minds of his influence to get his way. Now on to the woke weirdness, and there's not too much.
The eternal blue sky. Oh no. Oh, and we're done with gods. That must be one too. Oh, that's just another, like, I hate these things where they're like, if God is referenced, yeah, blue sky, the evil blue sky. And gods are done. We're done with gods. That's just a typical thing that happens, like, as a storytelling group for mankind leaving the planets and conquering the earth. Is like, we are the gods now as we, terraform and do all this other stuff. I don't know that I would call that woke. If you think that's woke, you have been in the anti-woke rot brain nonsense too long.
But you'll see it, and you'll know.
If I wiped my memory and kept me around, the Buddhist kid is right. I was trapped in sanity. Okay, with the reincarnation as an animal. What's woke about this? The Buddhist kid? Or it likes how I scream.
If you notice, for our stellar cast off the bat, you got Plain Rice, Gay Homelander, Jaquain, who stole my space bike off the spaceship ride over, and where the EBT at. You may think...
But Yorch told me these characters were fine, that they fixed her. They fixed the Rice girl. Like, this guy's really far on the anti-woke if that's what brings it up.
I think that's racist. You should hear the accents they got for some of the characters they chose.
I can
like,
fix
they
her,
literally
right.
got they looked up online and they're like, Chinaman voice. And that's one of the ones they got. Every single character in this game.
Show that. Like, show me I would laugh at that. That would be hilarious if they just went for the straight, old-fashioned, racist Chinaman voice.
Game is more diverse than the ocean itself. And the company says DEI is their forefront on how they make games. You think it's going to be completely devoid?
Who is that? Is that Crafton that says that?
Of this stuff?
I can tell you, all these companies say that too. Diversity and inclusion. This is something going like way back before it was even called DEI.
Later and more updates. This is future Doomer in editing who's going over all this.
Crew is a merc. Smash ship. Blue sky. Gamer is gated by TOS. We could go on. So woke.
I'm just kind of impressed here that we got the National Center for Transgender Equality. Change laws, the federal levels, policies and societies. Seeks to replace disrespect, discrimination, and violence with empathy, opportunity, and justice for transgender people. This is your company, by the way. What I'm asking here is...
Which company? You have yet to say which company.
Hey, I'm not that angry. I'm just asking.
Reskinning for PR.
How come you'll criticize all these other companies, but not this one? Is that because you might get some pushback on it? Broaden our perspective of creativity.
Yes, because what happens with the anti-woke, the current stage of anti-woke, not this guy who is clearly, in the weeds and he believes hardcore in all of this. It's not about the message. Like, it has, like, they live by the go woke, go broke, when clearly this game has so many elements that they would consider woke. and they just ignore it because it's making money. Go woke doesn't go broke when there's fucking 400,000 people on the game. 2 million bought in the first day.
Like, come on, man. In these audio logs, they're almost all women, too. The entire story revolves around these two women that give some funky lesbian vibes. They're a little closer than friends, it feels like. At least the story is based to a point that the villain is a vegan supremacist who values plants more than humans. I wonder if there's a real-life allegory for that.
This is the point against the anti-woke, like smashing Yorks. Yeah. He's basically saying like anti-wokers should be all over this game, but they're not, and they won't be unless something juicy comes up and happens.
They literally say that they value plants more than humans part. Along with this, the audio logs have tough women saving the colonists and are always ahead of the curve. Still too, there is some weird messaging in this game with the respawning. The respawning is built into the game's story, and I wish I saved this other one, but I don't have much space on my drive. It's unironically, we're like a Redditor atheist going, the sky is black and there is no God, only science, hacking science, God.
All right, let's see what this says. Namath Journal Go. I just dropped a marrow breach and I feel like a god. Not a god. A amethyst trickster and ancestor of myself. This is what our bodies did before the first city. It felt like playing a game and winning. The most important game ever played. The damn thing is that I think I think the Marrow Beach was playing with me too. Oh, it would have eaten me if it won, but it was playing. Evolution has equipped it to enjoy its work, like no human could ever enjoy filling out a loss report. There is some intrinsic blah, 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 meaning evolution has given us a purpose, a diorama, and an arete. I'm terrible with words, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. No one wants to hear about the meaning in nature. The Mongolians have Dinjuri, the eternal blue sky, who this is that one, who ordinates the fate and balances the cosmos. But did he save them from the Carrara? This must be Mongolian stuff. No. Our sky is black and we are done with gods. The capital has taught everyone that nature is a marketplace of violence, that that natural selection is the same as competition, and competition is the key drive of evolution. And it is and if I tell them that no, it's not like that. Nature is not operated by the same logic as a publicly traded corporation. The cynicism slams down like a hatch. Everything is a job. Fitness is profit. Profit is life. It's a trap, and I'm going to find the way out. So it's basically like anti-capitalist stuff. Nothing out of the blue. You ever wonder why like all of the future sci-fi content, why so much of it is around like mega corporations taking over and people living in fucking hellscapes of lives, dredging through life day in, day out. I mean, there's a theme that kind of goes into all of that around capitalism. Or at least what I would call it corporatism, right? Because what we're in even now is not capitalism per se. It's been taken over and corrupted into something else. Remind me of the plot again. Weren't these people in debt, so they got shipped out? I don't remember what he said it was. They may have, but if that's the case, then yeah.
And Buddha, for some reason, has a lot of references too. I'm sure it's because of the reincarnation aspect, but get that guy out.
Well, you just said like you understand that they were making that connection because these guys are getting reprinted over and over and over and over again. They're getting reincarnated by the AI over and over and over and over again. I mean, that was I think kind of simple.
Out of here. This game would have done way better if they didn't blow the story so hard and had it to be more unsettling. A few hints here or there about how Noah, the AI, can't be trusted. Every time you respawn, you remove something. Yeah, that's actually cool. Have him make me go to locations that are actually dangerous to try and get rid of me, or make me respawn again. A base not even a mile from the life pod has Noah kill the entire base by causing a fire. They blew the whole secret. Now, I played for as far as I could till stuff had missing dialogue or was untextured and blank.
That I can agree with on his statement. Like, if you're going to do this kind of thing, like if Noah, oh, I completely missed the name of the robot. I see damage. What the fuck? Noah, if Noah, they should call him the Otterbot. I should have instead imploded the whole secret. Yeah, right. Well, it's like hashtag OceanGate. Oh man. I watched a like little documentary on the process that ended up to that, and yeah, it was born to fail. I was waiting for you to get it. Thank you, Damage, for waiting for me to get it, because that just made it that much better. So anyway, yeah, I could agree with him on this. It's better to drip feed this kind of stuff, especially in a big open world game like this where you're going around and doing things. You kind of want the whole you're being reprinted by a robot to make it to the end. You want to think your little pal that is helping you do things is not trying to kill you. I could agree with him on like, hey, send you to dangerous areas to try and get you reprinted kind of deal. So yeah, I can see that.
Mind you, there's some interest.
I don't think that it's all that woke, and I get the jabbering that he's saying on there, but you can still have some, like, you could use that whole reference of rebirth and things like that they were using with Buddhism, a little less ham-fisted in there, so that you really aren't understanding fully what's going on.
Interesting stuff here, and there's some fun for a couple hours. I think the AI respawn thing going on is a neat touch if done right, and that the game itself is fun to play, but it's really too much similar to the first. I know they were scared after Below Zero, but nearly a copy? It's almost like a remaster if you think about it. I wonder if they want this to be the definitive edition, like why even play the first one? I mean, there's plenty of reason to, and I don't wish for its downfall. I hope it can surprise me later. As for now though, Subnautica 2 is just kinda alright. It's been done before. I mean, how many times have you seen the Mona Lisa? Let's say they paint like a beautiful painting one time. It's renowned around the world. And then they paint that same painting one for one again, but in blue. But then they paint it one more time, but in red. How quickly will you get kinda tired of it? Even if it's beautiful. If it's just the same thing every time, it will get tired, especially when the original, there's nothing wrong with it. What is here, what is polished, is pretty solid. A little above okay, I'd say maybe 6, 6.8. I ain't saying 7, but if you like the first game and hated Below Zero, you will enjoy this quite greatly, and I will keep a close eye on it. Well, everybody, it is 1:27 a.m. I am exhausted, but
I will say, this guy may not be anti. I guess he is anti-woke in the terms of the things that he believes in, right? But he's also fair when he's talking about the game. So I'm pretty impressed with Deranged Doomer a little bit there. I have arguments, of course, about the woke stuff and all this, blah, 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 blah. But it seems like he was more, like, his whole woke section was more about the story and how it was ham-fisted and just given to you almost immediately versus, it actually being woke. The OceanGate submarine offers you the OceanGate Xbox 360 Cheeto Dust controller. Do you accept the offer? Only if I don't have to get in the damn device. Oh man. I mean, if it was my time and I was like, I'm done with this Earth, I would do it. I told him I'd pilot the ship and I'd bring me a bag of Cheetos too. The Mona Lisa example is used, actually exists in, it's called pop art. True. People do redesign art all the time. And I do get what he's saying if it is like a 1-for-1 copy. Only way I'll know is if either I watch someone play or if I play it myself. Don't know that this is going to be one that I pick up for early access, especially with looking like it may have a lot of problems by design. By design of Crafton, who wants to who wants to leave the founders with a fucking mess. Oh man. Good stuff, good stuff. So if you want to know, I went through and fixed my coffee TTS. So if you ever want to tip money, it'll help. All money tipped goes towards games you want me to buy, whether it's a Finding the Woke series or anything else that's involved around gaming, mostly for games, or something like this that Deus made for me. Of course, we're getting paid. She's getting paid for it. Feel free. It's up at the top. There is TTS, like I said, so it'll read it out to you. I want to say it's a minimum of $5 to read the TTS. I don't remember. It may be anything. So that's always there, though. I don't require money. No one ever has to pay me. I never feel like I have to. I enjoy doing this in the evenings with you guys. If you haven't liked the stream, go ahead and like and subscribe. Like and subscribe now. So next we're going to watch the Birdman's new video, right? Oh, there was a game I wanted to. I got to start doing more. You know what we're going to start doing more on here? You know what we're going to start doing? We're going to start looking at more trailers for games. There was a game that I was looking at. Boop. Come here, you. Come here. There was one. Da, 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 da. It popped my interest, so we're gonna pull it up and we're gonna watch it. Because I like indie games. I like new stuff that comes out all the time. That's Splattercat. Pause. So I saw this game. Boop. Come out. We'll watch the trailer for it. Or the demo is coming out, we'll say. It's called Brigador Killers. And it looks like it's going to be like a open world mercenary sandbox game of some kind. Fine, what you need. Dude, that right there, that little clip of that guy getting run over makes me want to buy this game. Yeah, I would agree with you on like the art style and things like that anyway with it. It looks like you're just going to be controlling one dude though, which is pretty cool. Maybe you'll have more. Maybe you'll have a little squad that you can move around. But even if it's just one dude going around just fucking destroying shit, it looks good. It looks good. Maybe one that I play the demo on stream. Oh, Hotline Miami. Yeah, you could definitely see the Hotline Miami in it. Let's here. We'll look a little bit at the. Yeah, I don't care. It's an isometric insurgent simulator. Fight on foot and in vehicles. Build and steal a private arsenal and bring the war home to the businessmen who started it all in this continuation of the Brigador saga. Ooh, Brigador Killers. I'll have to look up the other games then. We're gonna add to wish list. Thank you. Boom. Yeah, that one looks good. I don't know, going after the businessmen, insurgents versus capitalism. Oh, that's woke. That's woke. We can't be doing that around here, guys. We don't like woke here. That one we've already seen.
Lord of the Fleas.
Awesome. So everyone here pretty much knows who Birdman is. He's made a video on Asmongold before, that we watched on stream. He's made another one, guys. He has made another one. This time, it's exposing the grift. Asmongold doesn't understand DEI and affirmative action, which is probably true. I mean, Asmongold doesn't know much about anything. He just says things and then says he's right? And his flock of children just, eat it up. But I figured we'd watch this because we've watched similar videos before, staying with the anti-woker theme. I have my problems with the way Birdman does his stuff and the way he calls everyone a racist, and everything is just like sometimes he just goes like too far. We'll probably run into some of it here, and I'll point it out as we go in, because yeah, the Birdman's the Birdman.
Has blessed us with yet another shit take on Twitter, this time alleging that black people benefit from systematic racism. We're going to debunk this nonsensical claim. And this time
I mean, what a statement. What a statement to say from Asmongold that they benefit from it. There are probably some people, just like there are people that benefit from a lot of different programs. If you look at things like welfare in the United States, do you know who benefits the most from welfare in the United States? The fucking businessmen who are constantly committing fraud and not going to jail. Good old Governor Rick Scott. All of his buddies went to jail for fucking fraud, Medicare fraud. But he got out of it. He's still a senator doing his thing, right? Birdman at least has you be a 24-hour sub to chat in his stream, better than Chrissy Myers 8 days. Jesus fucking Christ. Does she have that long? She wants to make sure you're not going to say some shit in chat. I'll never do that though. That's just so gay to me to actually limit people from coming in and talking. Maybe if you had an actual brigade doing it for 24 hours or something like that, say that you have to be in there for so long. But I want everyone to come in here, even the people who hate me, right?
try to be as brief as I can for old double-digit IQ here, because my last video was too long for him. So I'll have to re-explain the start-stop buttons for you, Zach, because you were too pussy to respond to my previous video where I cooked your monkey ass for over an hour. You know, the one where your excuse for ducking me was, "An hour is too long for me to grift." That's like 12 large Dr. Peppers, and even I can't rot my teeth out with that much. Isn't it strange how you respond to the video where I barely talk about you at all, where you lied and claimed I called you racist the whole video?
That's sad. Wow, mic drops, I know. So basically, this guy spent his entire video calling me racist.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Here's the thing, though. This is with any of these guys. I think there's one I need to watch from Kira that he made on Smash JT, and I haven't watched it yet, where I'm pretty sure Smash JT didn't watch shit. He didn't watch hardly any of it, but then just makes broad claims because they know that'll work, right? You can easily, like, your fan base isn't going to go watch the video. Barely help me. They have no reason to watch the video. They can just say whatever, and their fan base is going to follow them. None of their fan base is going to go watch the video. They'll go put comments on the video. They might dislike it, but they're not going to actually go spend that time and watch the video and have an actual opinion on it. When when what's his face, old Asmongold or Smash or any of these guys know their people will, cheer them on for owning another Wokey.
You sure about that?
Hey, he's kind of speaking in their language right now. AI.
So that was a fucking lie. But the video where I spent the length of a short film ramming my fist up your ass is the one you ran away from. So, since you missed it, red means shut the fuck up, I'm still talking. Green means it's your turn to speak. You seem to have difficulty understanding when someone hasn't finished making a point, so I have to get elementary on your ass. You are low IQ after all. Anyway, a few days ago, Zachariah here posted this tweet in response to Joe Bartolozzi refuting the claim that black people are more likely to commit crimes than white people. Let's have a listen.
Do not commit more crimes than white people on a personality basis. If you're going to say statistically they do, that is only because of impoverished areas in the lives that they've been given because of the implications.
Mentioning Asmongold's alarm gets auto-deleted in the live chat. I'm guessing you know some people or are somebody who's done something similar. Oh man, it will not really. Hold on. I don't know what it is with this game. And the word dead, if I'm guessing. The word rat. Come on. Okay. Gonna do this. I don't know why that game doesn't work for stream. Probably because it's not on Steam. What about Roach?
That have been put on them through, what is it called? Systemic racism. They've been given a shit hand and therefore live in that shit hand and are more likely to commit crimes if they're impoverished, living in areas where they have to survive. If you were to take a group of people and put them in an impoverished area, they're likely to commit more crimes because they have...
No, wait, that's his breakfast. Probably a bit of Roach too. Yeah, well, those are his people, right? He doesn't hurt the roaches. Those are his people. What's going on, Truge? How you doing today? How you doing this fine evening?
Have not been helped in the way that they need to be. But if you meet a black guy on the street and you say to his face, he's more likely to commit a crime than you,
yes,
you're fucking racist. Yes, whatever statistical fact you're going to throw is clouded by the idiocy of yourself to not recognize why that fact is in existence. Not because black people are genetically more likely to commit a crime. That's stupid.
So, Joe is obviously correct, but his argument can do with a bit of cleaning up, and that's what I'm here for. What Joe is referring to is the correlation of poverty and crime. This is a very well understood phenomenon that those placed under economic strain, limited opportunities, and weakened social structures often resort to property and violent crime. A large body of criminology and sociology research has found a consistent relationship between poverty, inequality, and crime across many different countries and ethnic groups. Studies from the United States, Indonesia, Latin America, Europe, and cross-national datasets all show that areas with higher poverty, unemployment, and economic deprivation tend to experience higher rates of certain crimes, particularly violent and property crime. A 2021 study published in the NLM found that more unequal societies tend to have higher crime, as well as lower social trust. Interestingly, the study also found that...
So, to me, this has always been like common sense. Like, it's funny. It's funny to bring up crime statistics in the U.S., right? I'm not going to say that I haven't done it on occasions, but it always was kind of like common sense to me that yeah, there's the reason that there's a higher rate of crimes amongst minorities is because, well, they're the poorest of those. Like you even look at like our here in the U.S. our school system and things like that. The schools that do worse don't get the money that the other schools do. It is not being spent well, and they're not getting, you know, the equipment that other schools are able to get. They're able to deal with. I mean, there's the whole another mess of problems, like teachers having to buy their own stuff, not getting paid well, being on contracts that can be ended at any point for no real reason. But yeah, it always seemed like it was kind of common sense, you know. The statistics funny. It's not meant to be serious.
The more equal.
I'm doing good, just vibing. Birdman is a weird person. I have no hate for the dude. He's just kind of a weird. Yeah, I mean, I've got my problems with the way he does things, and he's kind of like high and mighty self on it. But let's keep going.
The distribution of.
Does your new avatar use a webcam for motion tracking? Yeah, it does. So I can like turn my head, and then just for the mouth. It doesn't do like a lot else. It'll like if I move, obviously it'll sway for, you know, breathing and things like that. It's not incredibly detailed, but Deus did a great job on it. It looks amazing, I think.
Of resources, the higher the trust equilibrium, and that increasing punishment severity is not effective at this goal. And that particular piece of information relates to our pal Pigpen here, where he has routinely argued for more severe punishment. Looks like the science disagrees with him. Surprise, surprise.
If I remember right, I remember reading a study on, and one of the European nations had changed the way they did crime. And it had seen like they had a lower crime rate in general. Like I know places like New Zealand have a really low crime rate, but a lot of that is due, I think, to their incredibly strict immigration laws. Even though there still is some, but like some have done a different method where you actually focus on rehabilitation, getting somebody, you know, the training, the education, the things that they need, supporting them so that they can get up, and you tend to have people come out. What we have for rehabilitation doesn't fucking actually do any rehabilitation, right? I believe in harsh punishment mainly because I'm in a country with a woke, soft on crime prosecutor and lenient judge. I think there can be a place for it, right? I have a belief in capital punishment. Like, if you murder someone, I think they should put you to death. I just think that's, you know, the way it should go. It's not technically right by my beliefs, by like the Christian idea of forgiveness, but I can forgive you and still realize you're not going to be a help to society as a whole, we'll say. There's a lot of argument about whether it's cheaper to put someone to death versus keep them in the system. And I say that I'm not going to say that on YouTube, but it has to do with round costs. Yeah, it's kind of weird he didn't make a video on YouTube about Noah, but yeah, the dude kind of acts like he knows everything, and those people kind of tick me off, not gonna lie. Yeah, he gets that way. As for Noah, I don't think he wanted to be involved in that in the least, and I'm pretty sure that Birdman is the kind of guy that if it wasn't so public, he wouldn't care if that's what Noah was doing.
Similar findings have appeared in studies examining crime in Mexico, Indonesia.
Even though I'm against how it's done, for the most part in the Islamic world, they do get punished for theft, right? Like you're talking about cutting off a hand. I can disagree with that on a lot of levels. A permanent disability like that for a problem that, you know, for a temporary solution, I think is a bit much. If that's what you're referring to, like definitely for a first time person, there can be a lot of reasons for theft, and theft can be something very simple done in ignorance by a child. They don't deserve to lose their hand for the rest of their life because of that mistake they made, right?
Canada, and across the European Union, like this one here, where it's shown that people who are at risk of poverty report experiencing higher crime in their local area. So you see, this pattern is global and not unique to any ethnic group. Poor communities in parts of Eastern Europe and impoverished regions in Asia all experienced elevated crime rates compared to the wealthier populations around them. The same socioeconomic mechanisms observed in poor Black American neighborhoods are observed worldwide amongst people of entirely different ethnicities and cultures. Even the white supremacist's favorite non-white country, Japan, experiences higher crime rates when poverty and unemployment rates rise, as shown in this study. Moving slightly west, South Korea is experiencing what they call a silver crime wave, where the rise of poverty and its aging population has seen a commensurate rise in crime. All of this does not...
people committing crime. That's what I'm talking about. Poor old people. Is that going to happen in the United States when I get to be an old man and I have nothing to show for it because our economy is going to crash and my 401k is going to be worth nothing? Probably. Granny Theft Auto. That's base. I'm for it. I approve of Granny Theft Auto. I also like, I care more about being correct. You can be a bit smug. I can be a bit smug. Yeah, I can. I'm sure I can. I've said I have an ego. I understand that I have an ego and I have to watch it. I also like people who post supporting evidence for their claims compared to those who talk out their asses. True. I mean, the problem that people have with that is people will report supporting evidence that just isn't true. Like if you're going to say something, yeah, I think you should have the evidence to back it up and you should put things out there. But that's just not how humanity works. We all have egos, but when it matters is when you turn it off, you know? Yeah, I know some people that can't turn it off.
Not mean poverty mechanically causes every individual to commit crime, nor does every poor community become highly violent. But the broader statistical relationship between resource deprivation and crime appears repeatedly across continents and populations. This is why many scholars argue that racial disparities in crime are better understood through the lens of concentrated poverty, inequality, historical segregation, and access to opportunity rather than race itself.
Maybe it's, but just, maybe we should ignore
the reason Black people are associated with crime in the United States is because Black Americans have historically faced disproportionate levels of concentrated poverty, segregation, underinvestment, and systemic exclusion from economic opportunity, conditions that criminologists and sociologists have repeatedly linked to higher crime rates across every population on Earth, regardless of ethnicity. Once Black American slaves were freed, they immediately faced discrimination, a lack of economic opportunities, exclusion from wealth-building institutions, segregated housing, unequal education, targeted policing, and widespread racial violence. Each of those things on their own contribute to poverty, which I have just proven correlates with crime. Black people were subject.
What? I didn't know any of this happened. What? I thought we gave them land. Actually, if you don't know, and a lot of people don't know, the watermelon joke, if you don't know where the watermelon joke came from, back in the day, there were people, slaves were released and some were given land, but they didn't have the knowledge that or the money that others had to buy crops. You were given land somewhere you were given land at one point. But you were basically pretty much ignored by everybody in being able to buy the crops and things like that you needed. So what the former slaves did is they planted watermelon. It was a cheap crop that you could plant and it would be plentiful because watermelon just continues to grow. That's just how, and that's where the watermelon jokes came from with there. So yeah, it's fucked up. That's the thing, when it comes the slavery thing didn't just end and instantly become better. I think anyone who's an American should understand that through history. We get into Jim Crow era and everything else. And yeah, sure, there's still some stuff I think today. I think a lot of it now has more to do with the fact that they've been stuck in poverty, right? Like, yeah, we went through affirmative action, and I'm sure he's going to go over it. And we made it so that, you know, they could use the same bathrooms. They had all the same uh, uh, you motherfucker, fuck watermelons. I want to grow pork barbecue. You sir can get the fuck out of my chat. We don't raise pigs here. Pigs are pets. You hear me? You hear me, motherfucker? Pigs are pets. But pork is haram. That's right. That's right. We started that to keep the Islamics from eating us. We weren't able to get it into Christianity. They're like, nah, bacon's too good. Pig with a big chop. Hey, I also have an AR coming. Deus is getting my AR ready so I can have it slung across my shoulder too. He claimed most white Southerners historically came from Celtic regions of Britain and brought that culture over from Anglo, and that rubbed off on the slave population. Anglicization? I can't pronounce that word. Maybe, I guess. I know a lot of our culture is mixed at that point, right? You even talk about like Christianity, and you look at some of the religions that the slaves had, and even other people's like Haitians. Haitian religion was greatly influenced by Christianity. They pretty much took it into their own, and then we end up with like the modern day voodoo that we have today versus what their voodoo was originally. It makes you feel better. I want to grow some fresh steak as well. Equal split. All right. I mean, I can do that. Yeah, we may be able to talk about that. That's pigs will eat anything, right? Beverly Hills didn't help the hillbillies too much. Oh, well, where I live down here, I've met plenty of hillbillies. Some really smart. I've met some incredibly smart hillbillies, which sounds like an oxymoron, but some of those guys.
Objected to all of them at the same time. The United States created a permanent underclass in the form of Black Americans by freeing formerly enslaved people without providing meaningful economic restitution, equal protection under the law, or fair access to housing, education, and employment, while simultaneously enforcing systems that kept many Black communities segregated, impoverished, and politically marginalized. So, pop quiz, ass on mold.
What do you like? All right, you got to calm down a little bit, Birdman. I don't know if it's legal in my neighborhood to have pigs, but you can raise chickens, ducks. Someone even have miniature horses. So in ours, I have 2 pigs. If you don't know, I own 2 pigs, Hammy and Fern, but they're pet pigs. You can't do livestock in my area. My area used to be rural, but like it's more subdivisioned now than it ever has been, which sucks. But you could and in those ways, like even out in the county where I live, you can have pet pigs, but you can't use them as livestock. Like chickens you can have if it's mostly for eggs. Technically I don't think you can kill them for meat. Like obviously you're going to have to kill some of your chickens, like once they start laying eggs, it's time to go, and you can use that, but you can't really do it as a means of production. Where I can have like I want to say somewhere around 16 to 20 chickens, and I can sell the eggs and stuff like that off of it. I can do other things too, but my partner wants to get a pigs and cows, but to be honest, it scares the crap out of me. It is a lot of work especially if you're raising them for food and other stuff like that. That's a big commitment to take on. Even if I'm saying, even if she wants like a mini pig as a pet, that it can be a lot. Like I have to replace my floor now because when we got Fern, the second pig, so that Hammy wouldn't be alone, she kept trying to get into the back area that we had fenced in our house, and she literally ripped up some of the floor. Now the floor was already like in need of probably being fixed, so it's just like expediting the process, but they'll tear some shit up. They're super smart, man. Super smart animals. All right, but anyway, let's calm down a little bit there, guy. You're like super angry about this, and I get it. I get it. You're black. I don't know if damage is seething is bad in the comments. But Asmongold does say retarded shit that he has no understanding about whatsoever. Potential problem with potentially getting a pig is we have coyotes in my area. Yeah, that can be a problem. If you're wanting to have one or more and you can't have like the guy behind me, we got lucky because it's a whole bunch of open land. We're completely off subject into pigs now, which is wonderful. But anyway, we had problems with coyotes before they started building the neighborhoods back here, and my house is very much like a neighborhood house from like the 80s. But we had problems with coyotes, so we had to watch for even like my Dachshund and dogs just to be careful because they'll climb fences like there's no tomorrow. But my neighbor in the back had goats, and we used to feed them all the time. When they started getting his goats, he bought himself a donkey or two, and that pretty much took care of our coyote problem. So if you have enough land, that's the way to go. What's the origin with the chicken stereotype? I don't know what you're referring to. I wish he could use the avatar pose than just the character select PNG. It's just lazy in my opinion. At least have a moving background. Yeah, I mean it's a simple cut in if you're not big into editing.
Do when you don't have
Editing is my weakness. I when I first started out, I was just going through and clipping things, and then I got like fatigue on it, and I've got to pick it back up and start editing clips of my streams again. But it's like I hate editing.
Have access to decent education, can't get a job, live in a slum, and can barely feed yourself. Statistically, you turn to crime. It's not a black thing, it's a human thing. So this is what Joe was trying to communicate, that black Americans face conditions that overwhelmingly correlate with higher crime rates, and that this is due to systemic racism.
If I ever get the big bucks, I'll have to start like hiring you out to edit.
All those factors I just named were racist, and all of them were systemic. Redlining, or the process of systematically denying minority communities access to mortgages, loans, and investment based on their race, helped trap many black Americans in impoverished and underdeveloped neighborhoods for generations. That is obviously racist. That is systemic because it was a government-sponsored organization that invented this, and it was legal. Systemic racism. The main way a family in the United States builds wealth is through real estate. If you
There, he brought up redlining. You wouldn't mind opening up a commission sheet? Oh, talk to me later about it. Maybe. I don't know much about redlining. Like, I haven't been deep in the woods where I haven't been doing my part as an ally to look back at redlining. I mean, I knew there's all sorts of stuff like, right, you can say that there was definitely a bunch of systematic racism that happened for years, and you don't just fix that issue by getting rid of it, right? You have to do things that help bring up the communities. Do you need to give like the reparations idea where you give everybody just a bunch of money and fix it? No, I don't think that fixes much of anything any more than when the government does it for any other style of programs. You have to fix the actual systems involved. Our education is one that really needs to be fixed, not just for minorities, but for everybody involved in those areas. Until we actually start to do something about the issue of our poor, then yeah, you're still going to have this issue, and it's still always going to seem like blacks have the highest crime rate in the United States because we do nothing to support the poor anymore besides like some welfare things. No, that's stupid. Chappelle had a skit about how stupid that would be. I worded it weirdly on purpose so my message doesn't get auto deleted. The stereotypes that black. I got you. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You own a home, you generally pass that home down to your children, and since your children are now not required to use the majority of their income.
Chicken. I see what you were saying with the chicken. That one I don't know, because from my understanding, chicken was really not that cheap back in the day. Like, it wasn't easily manufactured in mass where cattle was. So I am not sure where chicken came from, because beef was a lot cheaper. I may be wrong about that far back, but I do know until like modern manufacturing things came around, chicken wasn't. It was more of a delicacy.
Income for housing, they are able.
Though I suppose people, it was easier back then to people have chickens because they can raise them on their own. But you can, chickens can be fickle sometimes. You can lose an entire flock to something if you don't watch it.
To save, invest, pursue education, start businesses, and accumulate wealth more easily themselves, creating a compounding cycle of generational wealth. If you routinely deny Black families the opportunity to own valuable real estate, you rob them of the opportunity.
So I want to, God, I'm a white guy. I'm a gray pig here, talking about stereotypes of people. I don't know where the grape soda one came from either, right? There's always some kernel of truth in it, and I always knew that, like, because I remember growing up, there was always the stereotype around Kool-Aid, and specifically grape Kool-Aid. So maybe it started around or before my time, but something around that era. I also know that lean, a popular drug, a popular drink, we'll say, among the poors in the world, was usually mixed with some kind of grape Kool-Aid, grape drink. It's not bad. It's not bad, but that's usually, they didn't usually mix it with anything else. And I think that's because of the flavoring, the way the coating is flavored mixes well with grape other than other flavors. This is not me saying that that's where it came from. I'm just saying the things that I have noticed in my past.
Opportunity to create generational wealth.
What is the racial wealth gap and why is everyone talking about it? The racial wealth gap is a measure of wealth inequality between racial groups in the US. Here's a prime example. Black families make up 14% of the population, but own only 5%.
Top 5 black stereotype streams win. If I'm going to do that, I have to bring my best friend, Damaged on. I don't know if I'm ready to get rid of that one yet. Oh man.
Of American wealth, while white households make up 6.
So are we going to get landlords and not keeping things asbestos and lead poisoning? Nope, we're going to keep getting all that.
5% of the population, but control 80% of the wealth. The gap traces back to the 1863 Emancipation Proclamation, which led to freedom for almost 4 million Black Americans. By 1860, their labor accounted for 60% of U.S. exports, $200 million a year, but Black Americans received nothing. No land, no money. Without any money or land, how could newly free Black Americans create wealth? The second barrier to building wealth, housing discrimination.
One significant driver to the racial wealth gap, as I mentioned before, is going to be home ownership. Home ownership is a significant driver of wealth, whereby every year of home ownership, homeowners gain about $14,000 in equity. Conversely, if you don't have access to home ownership, you don't have access to that type of equity and that cushion that you could get from having money saved from home ownership.
Fixing the things like those things, asbestos and lead, which led to problems with people. Well, yeah, I mean, we're probably still getting poisoned to this day, right? The video essayist preamble.
Housing discrimination allows banks to deny home loans to the Black community through a practice called redlining. Redlining was a government-sponsored practice of denying mortgages and other financial services to segregated Black and brown neighborhoods. It's called redlining because bankers literally drew red lines around undesirable communities. One Black household in a middle-class community was enough to make the federal government deny mortgage loans in that area. As a result, Black families turned to predatory lenders or were shut out from home ownership completely.
We just keep having to fight battles, but a lot of the things that have happened to Black folks in America were orchestrated and they were legal. They were systemic. I mean, it wasn't like it just happened that way. It was designed to be that way.
And like all forms of systemic racism, the downstream effects are seen in the modern day. And by the way, this is the United States Treasury website literally admitting one of the factors for this gap is due to the United States government. They are admitting their policies stifled Black home ownership.
Shouldn't put that out loud. Trump's going to get that deleted.
Systemic racism. Now, back to Zach's dumbass tweet. The first fucking line from this genius is that Black people benefit from systemic racism. Now, I know what Zach is trying to say here, that through policies like affirmative action, Black people benefit, and that because affirmative action is a governmental policy, that is systemic. The problem with this line of logic is that it's not racism. Yes, affirmative action effectively produced outcomes where an equally qualified white man could be disqualified for an equally qualified Black man, but this process also held that an equally qualified white woman would be chosen over an equally qualified Black man. In fact, white women were the largest beneficiaries of—
That was probably the worst mistake we made. Like, I'm all for, you know, African Americans getting equal representation, bringing everything up, and you know, getting a better life. But women, I mean, really?
DEI and affirmative action policies. So by definition and by practice, affirmative action wasn't a systemically racist policy because all ethnic groups benefited from that policy and it disproportionately affected gender. So it is a lie that affirmative action was racist. The best you could argue here is that it is somewhat discriminatory towards white men, and white men specifically, because it literally benefits every single other group. And even then, that would be a lie, as affirmative action includes mandates for hiring veterans and people with disabilities. Both groups, white men make up a significant portion.
Yeah, I agree. I think the problem with affirmative action is there's the way it's implemented, right? It sounds great on paper, but it still doesn't seem to fix any of the issues that they say that it was supposed to fix. And in some cases, it gets overused and abused just to cause more problems. Like, you get these companies that are saying, like, we're no longer hiring white men. Like, what do you mean? Like, affirmative action is also for veterans, so you're not going to hire any white male veterans or white men with disabilities. You're just gonna you ignore them. And even then, when it comes to like when you're trying to force businesses to do something, businesses are only thinking of the dollar, so they're going to find their way to work around the system to get it taken care of. Not really. It's in group preference supported by the major. What? Not really it in a group preference supported in the major. There is nothing in the system that is racist, yet the system can be exploited by racists if that is the majority, but that doesn't make the system racist. I agree with you when we're talking about the current day and age. I do not think that systemic racism still exists today. That there's not laws and things that are put into place to stop people from doing it. There definitely were in our past, right? Redlining being a very clear looking example. I'll have to go read more on it, but there were laws that kept, well, Black people from being able to succeed, right? So yeah, that's what's that's going on. But today, in this day and age, the example is there. The problem is all the damage is already done. right? We're seeing the effects of that systemic racism that happened then affecting people today. And it's even to the point that there are people that use that as a crutch as well. Like it comes on from, it comes from both sides, right? I just did a both sides. But yeah, I mean, you would have to show me something that says that the systematic racism is still happening today, that they are passing laws, when there are so many things that, like the affirmative action, which, like I said, aren't working, that exist today to try and do it. Off topic, Ronda Rousey versus Carano fight lasted 17 seconds. Who won? Did Ronda get? Ronda's older. Like, is she still like in shape? How long has it been since she's been fighting? She was doing. I guess she's still in shape because she did WWE shit. Women is not an ethnic group though. Have white men benefited from AA? Yeah, but vets are not a ethnic group either, and they benefit from affirmative action, right? So like I have a lot of problems with it. Ronda won, knocked her out in 17 fucking seconds. That's why I have a love relationship with the UFC. I haven't watched UFC in a long time, but like getting like a pay-per-view with the friends and sitting down and all going over to the house for the main event to last fucking 12 seconds. Carano fell off. Oof, it's gonna be a bad look for the anti-wokers. Yeah. So I don't agree. Like, it's very obvious affirmative action isn't like working or doing anything to help the system. You'd have to show me where the numbers are making it better, but there has to be something else we can do to slow down this gap where the rich, like the super rich, the billionaires are getting richer, but even the middle class is getting poorer and poorer every year.
So no, affirmative action and DEI are not a form of systemic racism. And no, black people and other minority groups do not enjoy preferential treatment at the expense of white and Asian people. Like, are you unaware that Asians are a minority group in the United States too? Why would you?
And I remember reading something, and I don't have the statistics here, and it may not be a thing anymore, that Asians actually have to grade, they get into the thing about colleges where African Americans can have lower test grades than white Americans, but supposedly I mean, years ago, we're talking like fucking a decade and a half ago or more, maybe even 2 decades ago, that the Asian Americans had to test higher on their scores because it was so easy for them to get in college because they tended to have better grades, better on average than everyone else. So, but that was a long time ago when I saw that. I also think if we treat affirmative action the same way Birdman described redlining, I think you could easily argue that it's discriminatory or even racist. Yeah, you definitely could. Because if it's like we're trying to build everything to an equal, right? Like the whole idea of everyone is treated equal. The problem with everyone is treated equal is no one is equal. Some people have mental deficiencies. Some people begin at the very bottom in the shit. Some people begin way up at the top. So when you start making government policies to try and level the playing field, yeah, you're going to disenfranchise a group or multiple groups in that. And you can't do that to the point where the other side sees you as being the enemy, right? There has been a big push over the years where white guys feel like they're completely being treaded on in a way. I don't feel it. I've never had that trouble, but there are people online. If you read online, you would think that the white eraser theory is true. I mean, it's not. There are sure cases where things that have happened in maybe a job or like companies having really terrible DEI policies and things like that. but I don't know. You can't do it without causing effect somewhere. Like if I were to use his argument, I could say redlining specifically meant to target hazardous communities. The fact that those happen to be black has nothing to do with it. His framing is just weird. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good point. And where do you find the line though? Like, what happens? How do you decide that the way it's being done is the way that they're saying that they're going to implement it? You know, we've got, because I'm thinking now, because you look at like the DEI methods, right, that happen right now. There's some that are, I think, okay, that are, you know, very helpful is the proper term if it's enacted right. But then there's these ones that are completely insane, where like the Disney leaks where they're like, oh, we're just not hiring white people now for it. I don't know. I don't know where the line is. I'm not smart enough for any of this fucking shit on most cases. That's why I'll never be a politician. But excuse me. When you only have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Yeah, I agree. But the thing is you can't do enough research on your own to see what's going on. You have to depend on, well, people to actually gather the data properly to decide what's going to happen. You know, this probably could have all been solved if there had been reparations back during the time when they freed all the slaves, right? Then they would have been on probably not equal grounds, but they would have had startups to start doing what there's, you know, what's going on. And then it would be less decline than just leaving everybody on the streets. You also look back at, what was it, Black Wall Street? I forget the name of the actual town, where it was like an incredibly successful. It's almost like a good version of libertarianism, where they, you know, they had their own community, their own town. They had doctors and lawyers and you know, barbers, everything across the realm. And then people who didn't like that moved in and burned the town to the ground. And if I'm right, there was some government intervention that like kind of forced the hand to eventually burn down the only successful black community. Another thing to thank Andrew Johnson for. Right. That's right. Sins of the father. Sins of the father.
Would you group those two together, Zach? Are you referring to the ridiculous Supreme Court ruling, Students versus Harvard? Setting that aside for the moment, what other areas are Black and Hispanic people benefiting at the expense of Asian people besides the overstated college admissions issue? Give examples. I'm sure everyone would like to hear them, Zach. And please, be very specific. Back to the Supreme Court issue, we currently have a compromised Supreme Court that is doing its damnness to implement overwhelmingly conservative policies and rulings, and these rulings almost always come at the expense of Black Americans. Its ruling...
Okay. I don't know about that. I mean, it's at the expense of pretty much all Americans, except for those who are in the MAGA community that they want these things, right? Like, prices of food and gas aren't going up just for Black people. They're going up for all of us. The rights of Americans are being stamped upon. There's even cases now where we're seeing some of the cases you see in the UK where people are getting police coming to their door over tweets they made against the president, right? And I hate to tell you this. Gina got completely steamrolled. Oh, I heard it was 17 seconds. She lasted 17, right? What was I saying? What did I even say? I lost my train of thought thinking of that. Germany had something similar. I think a political was made fun of, and his device was taken away from him. Yeah, that's what it was. Like it's people say something mean about the president, and he has stated that he doesn't like that, and he would do something about it. He's also made statements that he likes the way the Chinese, the leader of the CCP, works his magic. Right? He wants statues of him. He's already built statues of him. We're looking at a very, like, nobody wants to say, but we're looking at a guy who wants to become a dictator. He will probably die of whatever disease is riddling his body, but it may not be before there's irreparable damage done to our Republican democracy. I'm sure that the center of American progress is a very nonpartisan news source. Yeah.
In Students v. Harvard was a joke because the prosecution's claim hinged on the idea that American institutions like Harvard already operate on a level playing field, which we know they don't. At Harvard specifically, there are legacy admissions, donor preferences, networking advantages, and wealth inheritance that disproportionately benefit white students. Somehow, the group suing Harvard ignored all of that to focus on the 18% of the class of 2027 who were black. 18%. This number decreased to
I mean, that's actually kind of higher than I thought it would be at Harvard.
14% after the Supreme Court's ruling.
See, here's the thing with this, though. Like, you can call, like, racism on it, but it's very much the same thing when it says the rich versus the poor, right? Like, white kids in poor communities are not going to Harvard at the same rate, you know, because he's very right. The rich kids who can, one, their parents can afford to send them to Harvard, two, their legacies of Harvard and all those other things that do it are the ones that are getting the job. The incredibly rich are the ones who go to Harvard and get that education, not us fucking Joe Blow workers, right? It's very, like, people talk about you can be anyone you want to be in America, and that is true to a point, but the chance of you rising above and getting into a higher class percentage wise is incredibly small, right? Most people will get maybe a little bit richer, than the next generation will get poorer, and back and forth. I'm not going to read that one, Giga, but yeah, sure. Yeah. Also, 18% is totally a healthy number. Aren't blacks like 15-ish% of the population? So we would expect about 15-ish% of the student body at the university to be black. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. Yeah, you're right. Because if we want to talk about equality, then you have that argument that people do where everything needs to be equal across the board, which is impossible. Like I said, people deserve to be treated equal, but people aren't actually equal. And it's more than just like a racism thing. There's so many things that happen that can affect your ability to become something more than you are, right? Or something more than your family is. Unless, you know, you're just a rich kid. The whole thing, like, in America, I don't believe any of it is a race war. It's not whites versus blacks. Like, you go around communities and you see people that are mixed races all over the place. It's not whites versus blacks. It's a class war. And the problem is there's only two classes now. The middle class doesn't really exist much anymore. It is dying. Weeding them out the process.
The Asian cohort went from 37% to 37%. Literally zero change to them, but a 4% drop in black student admission. Which, if you haven't been paying attention, is the fucking goal. The group that sued Harvard, Students for Fair Admissions, headed by this guy, Edward Blum, who has dedicated his entire career to dismantling progress in racial equality and specifically black representation. Bush versus Vera, a Supreme Court case against redistricting in Texas that sought to increase racial minority representation in Congress. Fisher versus University of Texas, another Supreme Court case regarding affirmative action in a college. Shelby County versus Holder, a Supreme Court case concerning pre-clearance, or the right of the federal government to approve of voting law changes of certain states that had a history of racial discrimination, i.e., the South. This one was important because it resulted in a landmark decision that allowed historically racially discriminant states in the South to fuck with voter ID law.
My point is that Birdman is focusing too much on the numbers and not on what Harvard is getting sued for. Oh, yeah. That may be one that we need to read into a little more. And that's the problem with a lot of this. Like, he does say these things, but you can't listen to Birdman and not understand, like, he has a clear bias, right? And that bias is incredibly strong. So for me, or even for Asmongold, to go through all of this would be hours of work, us reading through the case law, us reading through everything, around it to figure out what is the truth. Definitely not something I'm going to do on stream. The numbers aren't even in his favor. It seems like the numbers are within the expected margins. Yeah, right. Now, I will say, like, a 4% drop is a pretty big drop in most cases for things. So you want to look at, like, what is causing that. But it's not as damning as he thinks. And some of these case laws, like, I question looking into them. That white dude is probably an absolute racist, right? I could absolutely believe that. But I would need to look more into those cases to see how they match up with what, he's saying. Because he's basically hinting at that they're redlining still to this day in the government. Now, I could tell you this. I think a lot of this stuff where they're trying to gain, like, more political control over the voting, the main federal government that shouldn't be done. You don't want that to happen. You do not want the government in control of all of the votes. We will have one president and one presidential family for the rest of our lives if the government as a whole, the main government, federal government, controls the voting.
Laws, removing the most effective protection against racial voter suppression. Doesn't that sound familiar? The legacy of Edward Blum. That's this guy's entire goal, to roll back civil rights protections, especially those that affect or benefit Black people. Just like I pointed out in my last video, it's
I hate showing just the picture of someone and a edited article. Like, this is a problem that I have with everybody who does this kind of content at all. Put the fucking article so I can look it up. Like, I can look up the name of the article and stuff like that, but you're not showing me what the news cycle is that does it. You're not showing me any of the other content that I need. I have to go searching for the name and hope it pulls up for it and search around until I find it. Just put the name of the news group involved in it. So I know what website to go to. Communities tend to do bits of gatekeeping. Oh yeah, true. Very true.
Strange coincidence, everything Zach promotes is backed by some white guy whose life goal is to shit on Black people. So this is why Zach said white and Asian Americans in his tweet, because like most people that promote white supremacist rhetoric, he's weaponizing Asian people against Black and Hispanic people in the United States. This is a very common tactic known as the model minority myth. Zach nor Edward Blum give a flying fuck about Asian people. Asians are just a pawn in their game, a game that, when that game is won, will be turned against Asians. And unfortunately, some of them are too fucking stupid to recognize that.
Lee, they pointed out Lee. Well, Lee he doesn't care about his own country much, his own race, much less the race of anyone else. He is just a race baiter. This is a very good faith video so far. Oh Jan. This guy doesn't give a shit about anybody. He doesn't. If it came down to them coming after him directly, yeah, he may turn tail then. But the guy he only thinks about money. He's monetizing his content online to try and become the next Ian Miles Chung. That's what he wants to. He doesn't give a fuck about politics in the America. He doesn't give a fuck about. He has no beliefs in anything else. He just wants to get clicks online, right? And treating him like he's anything more than that is silly.
But I want to be free.
It's like the same people who throw around that the Holocaust wasn't as bad as they say it was, right? Like, there's no way they fit all of those people into those dumb things. They're just doing it. Yeah, it's the truest term of grifter that there is. Like, it's political grifting at its finest, which is the real problem online right now. Political grifting has like ruined the world. And especially the United States. He forgot the Muslims. What about the Muslims? He forgot the Muslims. It's interesting that I can tilt my head that far. So yeah, I mean, I can understand getting angry at Asmongold, but you've made a video that I don't think is entirely correct. I mean, it's in that very, very, one lens, we'll say, one lens grade, right? There are points that I agree with. Like, if you look back in the past, I absolutely agree with the systemic racism that was around back then. I just don't know that I agree that it's still happening today. There are probably people who are still trying to do it. The current Trump administration wants all the poors. Like, it's not, I don't think it's just black people. I think that's a tool that they use to drum up, all sorts of rhetoric and violence and things like that. But I don't think it's the main tool. I personally think that the rich want basically to put us in little houses and watch us die off from starvation. Sorry, I'm thinking of William S. The civil Tim Pool type, war types used as a source, but I think Lynn is a rather Fox too. I would have to look at those people. I don't remember them. Though I've probably seen them once I see their faces. I don't get too far into the political sphere. Like, obviously I'm touching politics with the culture war. But I try and stay out of this politics as much as they can. Because I spend more time cleaning my rifle. I have this concept. I have this this concept of a story, an alternate World War I with a victorious Confederacy. The black population of the North would be like in our timeline, very integrated. That's an interesting storyline, I suppose. So you're saying, like, so when you say integrated, they'd be integrated as in the North they would be free. But in the South, they would continue on because the Confederacy won? Or are you saying if the Confederacy won, that there would be integration, right? Boop, boop. Got a little time here. We can chat. I was trying to play, like, I started getting into RimWorld, but that's not like the game I wanted to play. I was playing it and I'm like, I am just kind of drifting away from it. So I was playing a game pretty hardcore. I think I already said it on the last stream, but then they announced there's no more DLC for it and it's got a huge map. So I had a problem. Well, I like to look at it where this activist booth on the right and left get their ideas from. Yeah. Well, it's become so extreme. Like, it was already becoming extreme, but now we literally have the MAGAs, who are the SJWs, of this age. Integration, meaning fitting in an overall community, not segregation. Gotcha. Well, I mean, integration is the problem they ran into. Instead of integrating the African American slaves into United States culture and, actually building a better nation, we systematically segregated them. Oh. New concepts for a story of an alternate World War I with a victorious Confederacy. The black population of the North would be like, in our timeline, very integrated. If you write something up, I'll read it. I will. Boom, boom, boom. But in a lot of ways, well, you figure like the problem is a lot of the things that didn't happen back then that probably needed to happen are talked about happening now, and it's like I don't think we can use those solutions to fix the same issues. But dumb white guy from the South, so maybe that's just my racist brain saying things. Bum, bum, bum. Quit without saving. I didn't even bring up. I was gonna play Dwarf Fortress, but then I got like really into that video and and talking about it. I don't know. I don't know where that ends. I don't know where that comes from. We're not gonna have time to watch Lady Decade's video on Mixtape. Simon, if you're still in there, we could talk about Mixtape a little bit if you want. Before I go, I got about 20, 22 minutes or so. Let's see what else we can find while we're going through here. The Subnautica stuff, man, is just... I'm waiting to see where the anti-wokers go with it, because it's clear that they're just trying to ride the hype train of what goes on. I can't wait to see when they falter. This was one that I wanted to see that looked interesting. I like space games. Let's look at a game before we get out of here. We're gonna look at a game. Boop. On X. Oh, here we go. No, let's not do it that way. That way's dumb. That way's dumb. Let's do it this way.
And protect the galaxy. Travel between systems and help those in need along the way. Upgrade your ship, choose your equipment, and keep your crew safe no matter what comes next. Face the children. Pilot your ship, fight and protect the galaxy. Travel between systems and help those in need along the way. Upgrade your ship, choose your equipment, and keep your crew safe no matter what comes next. Face the children of the sun in intense space battles. Earn achievements, complete missions, and become the captain the galaxy needs. This is Between the Stars, available on Steam.
Maybe I'm just like...
Pilot your ship, fight and protect the galaxy. Travel between systems, and help those in need along the way.
But that voice sounds very AI. Every isolated games. What do they make? Well, I think we're going to call it here because there's not much going on and we don't have time to watch more Mixtape stuff. So I will be back on Monday, guys. Going to be cutting out the Fridays for a little while I've got things going on. Just Fridays are busy. We'll get back to them after my daughter's dance. Thank you, everyone, for coming by. If you haven't, please like the stream on the way out. If you like it going, go ahead and subscribe. And I will see you guys on Monday, right? If you have anything you want, go into the Discord and put it in Feed the Pig. And we will watch some more slop. Later.